Welcome to the REI Agent, a holistic approach to life through real estate. I'm Mattias, an agent and investor.
And I'm Erica, a licensed therapist.
Join us as we interview guests that also strive to live bold and fulfilled lives through business and real estate investing.
Tune in every week for interviews with real estate agents and investors.
Ready to level up?
Let's do it.
Welcome back to the REI Agent. Mattias here. Erica is still recovering from her meniscus surgery. I don't know what the order of the episodes will come out in. So if this is out of order and the one where I talked about this a little bit more comes out later, I'll just summarize really quickly to say that we got an MRI on a Thursday, last Thursday, and then Erica went under the knife to get a meniscus repair on Tuesday. The recording of this is on Friday. So we had the first PT, and she's been in a lot of pain. It's been rough. That kind of surgery is painful. I was not expecting it to be as bad because I've seen her through some difficult, painful things, and including childbirth. And she's a tough girl, but it's definitely been a painful thing for her. So we're very eager to get her moving as much as possible, hoping that the recovery goes fast and is as painless as possible. Just trying to maintain sanity while we have the work and the kids, all that kind of stuff. The first day was really, really hard. Kids not understanding the limitations and just kind of feeling, not being able to verbalize and feeling just this like distance from their main caregiver, their mom. Like, I can't compete with that, right? So all that to say, it's getting better every day, and we've been really fortunate to have a community surround us and help us out, and it's been great. We've really had support from people, so or else I wouldn't be able to be here right now. So that's awesome. Today we have Adam. I'm going to say his name wrong now. Dang it. Gillespie. It's terrible because I have a really good friend that has the same last name. And so I say it right when we go into the podcast. So pay attention to that version if I butchered it there. But anyway, Adam is an AI expert. He won the Inman AI Award in 2024 for the agent or team that's using it the most effectively. So tons of interesting information in this podcast about AI. If you are scared of AI, if you are not really using it much, don't shy away from this podcast. It gives you some really good information. He's got some courses and some things that you could use to increase your familiarity with it. One of the things we talk about in this episode is that it's not going to go anywhere. Like, this is going to be the new thing. And if you use Google regularly, you may remember a time where Google was new and there was kind of a learning curve as to how to use it. Now it's second nature. And I think that's going to be 100% the reality for anybody kind of growing up with it, right? So, depending on where you're at with your career and your familiarity with technology and your love-hate relationship with it, highly encourage you to take it for give it a ride every day. Give it a spin. Hop on that ChatGPT bot and see what you can do. See what you can learn. See how you can start increasingly develop it more and more, and realize how you can use it for different things, because it is a revolutionary piece of equipment that's just starting. AI is going to be everywhere. I think he talks about this in the podcast, but Google founder actually thinks it's going to be bigger than the invention of fire. So don't miss out. Learn as much as you can. Adam's a great resource for it. He knows his stuff. He makes me look like an infant, and I feel like I'm fairly techie. So, yeah. Take advantage of his information that he gives in this podcast. Follow him. Look in various his different communities and options as well, it would be worth investing in for sure. So without further ado, here we have Adam. Welcome back to the REI Agent. We are here with Adam Gillespie. Adam, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey man, thanks for having me on. I'm excited to be here.
If anybody is watching this, they can see Adam won 2024 Inman AI award from Inman for AI. And that's super exciting. I'm sure the AI tagline is going to get a lot of people excited and curious, or maybe some people are going to be scared. But before we get all into that and how the robots are going to take over the world, can you tell me a little bit how you got into the real estate space? What was your journey becoming an agent?
Yeah, so I decided to become an agent after I realized that I didn't like general contracting anymore.
Okay.
Basically, I'd come off of some tours. I was touring with my band, and let's just start at the beginning, okay?
Yeah.
So I left high school early to be in a band because I thought I was going to make it. And my band and I actually were back on the MySpace days. So this is like 2004.
Yes.
And we were running bots on MySpace that would auto post my band's music onto famous people's comments section inside their MySpace. So we'd rack up all these plays on our MySpace player, and it made our band look way bigger than we were. And long story short, that ended up leading to a couple of Best Band in Denver winnings through our major radio station, and put us on tour with a lot of really cool artists like Korn, and we played with Slipknot and Linkin Park and all these cool bands. And that was like my first real taste in AI. But flash forward to 2014, I realized, oh man, I'm a high school dropout. I'm not making any money with my band. I better figure something out. So started a general contracting company, ran that for a couple of years, and realized I didn't like having employees, and it was just too much just fluff that was going on. So I decided, one of my buddies was like, hey, you can get into real estate, and then you're basically responsible for your own destiny, And I really liked that idea. So I jumped into real estate, and that was in 2017.
Okay.
And I've been in it full time ever since, and found myself just geeking out in AI early of November 2022. And as soon as when they released GPT 3.5, and I just been playing with it seriously ever since, and got a few certifications in AI as well on top of that, just to better understand it. And yeah, I ended up winning the 2024 Inman AI Award for best use of AI by an agent or a team. So it was pretty exciting, man.
That's awesome. That's so cool. I feel like we got some kindred spirits going on over here. Love playing music as well. I think there's a techie element to music that can translate well into the techie side of anything, I guess.
Absolutely.
Just quick side tangent. I mean, so it sounds like you kind of had a metal side to the music. Is that correct?
Yeah, we were like, if you took Slipknot and then crossed them with Rage Against the Machine. So we still had an MC singer who was a great screamer, but I just loved crunching the guitar as hard as I could. So we just ended up mixing this thing together, and this is kind of funny. We all come from different walks of different areas of our high school. So my lead singer was quite a bit older than me. My bass player was older than me. I was actually the youngest one in the group, but we were all in different bands, and then we all came together to form No One Left Standing. And that kind of rocketed us off from 2004 to 2014. It was pretty cool.
Nice. All right. So you are still in the Denver area. Is that right?
Sir. Yep.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, why not? Why wait? Why waste time? Let's get right into the AI. I gotta say, when it first came out, it was exciting, and a little bit nerve wracking. Like, what does this mean? All these questions that can come up.
Right.
But I knew right away that this is going to be, you probably remember this when older people were kind of getting used to Google, and they were kind of, impressed with how you knew what to search for in the search bar to find what you need.
Yeah.
I realized very quickly that this is going to be that. You need to learn how to use this tool. This is not going away. This is only going to take over things more than not just ChatGPT in general, but just the use of prompts and all that stuff is just going to be the cat's out of the bag. We're not going back. You can't fight it by not using it. You have to learn how to adapt, right?
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, it's so revolutionary that even Sunjay Patar from Google said that this could be bigger than the invention of fire for humans. So, like, you think about that on a grand scale, like nothing that we know as regular life is going to be the same in the next 10 years. But the question you have to ask yourself is, what do we do between now and then? Right? How do we capitalize on it now? Because I know the fear out there is AI is going to take my job, right?
Right.
And we even saw it. I don't know if you guys saw the most recent headline with the real estate agent, the AI agent that sold 100 million in volume this year already. And they're saying, like, everybody just kind of started melting down in real estate. They're like, oh no, we're getting replaced. And I'm like, no, dig a little deeper, and you'll find out that that agent actually didn't replace the agent. It was just a basic chatbot that provided 24/7 customer service. It was sending property recommendations. It was doing the follow-up. It was just basically there doing the things that really kind of bog us agents down.
Yeah.
But when it came to the actual volume of the transactions, the agent showed the house, the human agent showed the house, the human agent negotiated the deal, and the human agent closed it. So in all actuality, that was a perfect example of practical applications of AI inside of real estate. And the best part is that any of us can do it.
Yeah. I mean, talk to us more about that. I mean, so what are some practical applications that people can use AI for?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, if we start really down at the beginner basics, you can find it to, or you can tune it to give you good property descriptions and stuff like that. But then we can take it even advanced where, I use ChatGPT and other AI apps to scrape personality statistics based on the disc profile off of the other agents that I'm working with, so I can adjust my negotiation strategies based on their personality. And I use all AI to determine that. I even feed it my inspection reports, so that way I can know how to stack up the objection and figure out what that negotiation is going to look like with the other agent. I've used it to debate appraisals. Like, dude, I had a non-conforming property. So basically it was a house built in the 1950s, and the area that surrounds the house has now become zoned industrial. But the house has always been there, and it's just a little house. It's still livable. And I have a client who runs a trucking company who's like, dude, this would be perfect. It's a half-acre lot. I could park my truck on here. And that's like, great. So we put them under contract, and then we go to appraisal, and the appraiser calls the lender, says we're not going to appraise it. We won't do a 1004 on it because the highest and best use is going to be industrial. So this is where most agents would be like, oh no, I guess I'm going back to my client and telling him we can't buy this property unless he wants to switch to a commercial loan, and we do this on an industrial side, which wasn't an option. So I was like, this isn't right. There's got to be something about this. So I went into ChatGPT. Well, first I went onto Google and I found the Adams County Zoning Guide and Regulations Manual, which is like a multiple 100-page PDF. Toss that into ChatGPT, train ChatGPT to be a real estate attorney. So I basically say, okay, you will act as an expert real estate attorney specializing in zoning regulations in the Denver area, and I'm going to upload a manual. You'll put that to your knowledge and help me determine a solution to my problem. So then I tell it the entire problem, which is the story I just told you. And it's like, oh yeah, no problem. CRS 15-17-13AB says that any property used continuously for residential use would be considered grandfathered in as long as it wasn't used for anything else other than residential purposes since it was built. And then it found another clause that said that the minimum zoning rate, or the minimum lot requirement for zoning of industrial in that area is 2 acres. This property was only half an acre. So then I'm like, okay, ChatGPT, why don't you go ahead and just draft me an email in legalese, make it sound super smart, and I'll send this off to the appraiser. Well, they were like, okay, cool, we'll go out and appraise it. And they did, came in at value, we closed the deal.
Such a great example. Yeah, I love doing things like that with it as well. Like actually, back to the music stuff, I actually got a couple new pedals and uploaded the user guides into ChatGPT, all of them, and then just kind of use that as a base of how should I set this up? What should I, what order should they be in? And if I have a question, instead of having to bug one of my buddies, which I probably would have done before, I can just Google it. It's the RC600 looper pedal, right? So it's a little bit complicated than like a standard just on off, but anyway, so that's just a great example. I mean, you could do that with any appliance personally, right?
Yep.
And when you start understanding the power of this, you do those things. I mean, that's a great example of how like it can just do the research for you basically, and then write a great email. And I found, I don't know about you, but okay, so do you use like I have an email app that I use, Superhuman.
Okay.
And it has some AI responses. I find myself not really using them very often. They don't always work perfect, and it's not really. I usually have to edit them enough that it just takes more time, so I just end up writing it myself. However, there are definitely times where it's a more contentious thing. That needs more thought, needs to be more thorough. That I 100% always use ChatGPT or something to write out emails. I mean, how do you use it for emails?
Yeah, so what I figured out really early on that especially when they release custom GPTs, which are kind of outdated now. We're waiting on OpenAI to actually put new GPT technology inside the custom GPTs because it's still the old GPT-4 Turbo. But back in those days, I was like, I wonder if I could clone myself into this because it would be really dope if it spoke like me. So what I did is I created a prompt that basically dove deep into my business, my target avatar, like everything you could possibly imagine about my business. And I just went back and forth with ChatGPT in an interview style until I exhausted all of the questions, and ChatGPT knew everything it could know about my business. Then I copied that. I had it summarize it all in great detail, and I copy that and paste it into a document, save that to my desktop. And then I go to YouTube because I'm all over YouTube and I speak unscripted on YouTube. So I just transcribed all of my solo YouTube videos. And then I grabbed that and I saved that as my speech style. And those two documents together, I can pull into any chat inside of ChatGPT or Gemini, Claude, any of those large language models. And I have my AI clone there. So now all I have to do is I can just paste in the email, say, even go to voice mode. I do most of my prompting through voice mode now. And I just say, hey, respond to this email, tell them Thursday works great, and be enthusiastic. And then it writes it out perfect. And then I just copy and paste. So
love it. Yeah, that's great. That makes a lot of sense that would work. And I guess so. To your point, like if you could have the custom GPT be a little bit more updated, you wouldn't have to upload that stuff like more as often as you do.
Every time, yeah. But it's only 2 documents, so it goes in pretty good.
Sure.
Especially with the new 4.5 release because it communicates better. It's not smarter than 4.0, so we still use 4.0 for like our research purposes and all that good stuff. But 4.5 is an amazing writer. So like I'll go into that and I'll just bring my documents in and it knows everything there is about my business. So I'm like, hey, I want to write a blog today and I have no idea what I want to write about. And it's like, oh, well, based on all of the information in your business docs, here's a list of ideas that you could write blogs about. And it's like, okay, well, let's do number 3. And then boom, gives me a complete keyword heavy, SEO keyword heavy blog written in like listicle format or whatever format I choose. And then it's just copy and paste from there. So it takes these activities that a lot of us just opt out of because either we're not writers or it takes hours and hours to do. And it breaks it down into simple tasks that can be done in just a couple of minutes. And it can change the game for your business. Like imagine being able to drop a blog every day that's educational towards buyers or sellers and the amount of SEO dominance that you'd start to get over Google after, just a few months of that. Especially if you're doing it properly, then you might be wondering, well, how do I do it properly? Well, you've got your coach right there, right? ChatGPT, hey, act as an SEO expert and help me optimize this blog and tell me what keywords and meta descriptions I should use. And it'll spit it all out for you. And next thing you know, you're copying and pasting.
I love it. What would be some of the top apps that cost money or are free that you think people should all be using?
Yeah, so my number one app of 2025 is Notebook LM. This is a Google product. And it's honestly like, I can't believe it's not as big as it should be because what this is Google technology that's now using the Gemini 2.0 thinking experimental model. So those of you that are wondering what in the world is that, this is Google's reasoning model. So when it comes to AI, there's a couple of different levels to it. And with ChatGPT, the GPT models like 3.5, 4.0, 4.5, these are GPT models, but they're not reasoning models. Reasoning is another step up in AI. So we see like ChatGPT released 0.1 and 0.3, and they call those the reasoners. these models use a human chain of thought like processing versus what was assigned the highest weight after I went through all of my probabilities, right? That's kind of how a GPT works, is more like linear, where it's like, okay, I'm reading these tokens or these words that you put in, and these are the most likely what should be coming up next, right? And it just assigns a weight to each possible outcome until it has the highest weight and no more outcomes. And then that's your response. So where a chain of thought model or a reasoner can actually run through a human-like chain of thought, and it almost is capable of stepping back and looking at its work and reading it. So this is where you see us getting around these major problems that we had inside of AI. Like if you know, they've updated it now, but if you went back to an older model of ChatGPT and asked it to spell the word strawberry, it would get it wrong all the time, because it doesn't actually read like that. And that's where these reasoners come in. So Notebook LM is free to use, or you can get Notebook LM Plus if you're a Google One subscriber. It's like $20 a month, totally worth it. But what makes Notebook LM so crazy is that it has a 2 million token context window. So for those of you that are listening that are like, what in the world is that? This is the memory. Okay, so this is a very, very large memory for a large language model at this point in time. 2 million tokens is roughly like 1.5 million words. So you could put basically an entire encyclopedia into this memory before it starts to forget. And what's great about it is it's what we call a grounded model, meaning that where like ChatGPT is connected to the internet and trained on a vast data set, it can actually do what we call hallucinate, and it can pull data that's incorrect or wrong out of its data set and feed it to you, and it could sound increasingly correct or convincingly correct, right? So we call these AI hallucinations, and with a grounded model like Notebook LM, it doesn't have that data set training, and it's not connected to the internet. So it only pulls from the sources that we upload to it.
Oh, interesting.
Right. So this is a game changer when it comes to us doing research where we can't risk getting misinformation. So let's say you pull all of your market stats out of the MLS, right? You can throw that into Notebook LM, and then Notebook LM will actually put it into a podcast for you, or you could just read it, either one, whatever's best for you. But they have a really good thing called the audio overview. Turns it into a podcast that you can actually ask questions to the hosts on and interact with this to learn these market stats. So I use it for things like I have a buyer onboarding process that when somebody comes into my system, I'm like, hey, great, I'm going to go ahead and send you my buyer's guide in audio format. And I shoot them over an MP3 link, and then they just basically click that. And now they're listening to my buyer's process by 2 podcast hosts. So it's kind of cool. It just mixes things up.
Yeah.
But the big thing about the model is that it stays within the sources that we give it and minimizes AI hallucinations. So that's my number one.
That's fascinating. Yeah, I love that. So that's cool that that could be free as well. And obviously ChatGPT can be free as well for people. I've been paying for that. I mean, for a while. Like at first, it was like I want to just see what the newest model is, and then I'll unsubscribe once I get used to it. But it's just becoming so much more increasingly useful that it's just like it's worth it.
Absolutely, and especially as we start to branch into the agentic workflow era of artificial intelligence, where we're right now, you have to prompt ChatGPT to get your answer, but we're reaching a point now to where ChatGPT could log onto a website, navigate that website, do research for you, and then get that research back to you in a nice outline document. And that's just the very beginning. Like we can employ multiple AI agents throughout our business and basically take the place of an actual physical human employee as far as the administrative computer work goes. So it's going to be a game changer for us agents. And I think that with a lot of the fear where they're like, dude, this is going to take our job. No, but it's going to make your job a lot easier. And if you choose not to do it, agents that do are just going to blaze right past you. And it's going to be really hard to keep up with agents using AI.
Yeah. And I think if somebody's intimidated, feels like this is too much, like, how am I going to learn this? I mean, all I can say is just try to use it a certain amount of time every day. I think I mean, you might have better advice than me, but I think, I mean, you probably have, you have courses. So, I mean, there you go. But I think if you'll start finding new and new use cases for it as you kind of just use it more and more often, like things that you might not even think about. They have, obviously you can upload pictures, but they also now with the voice chat will allow for like a live video to kind of give context to what you're talking about. So I was trying to revamp my studio in here, my office studio space. And I just kind of fed it some pictures. I could have done the live view thing as well, I'm sure. And just asked like, how do I make this space more inviting? How do I make this space better used? And it just fed out a bunch of different things. So, I mean, so think about that. I haven't actually tried it with staging a house. I think I'm not sure if we're quite there yet, but it probably would give you some good tips at least, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's cool. Pretty wild, man. They've they've got some AI staging software out there that's pretty good right now. But as far as just being able to use like ChatGPT's vision, I think the perspective that people should have on this is like, it's the smartest thing that we've ever come across as humans. I mean, it's trained across the entire internet, basically, right? So if you just take the perspective like, hey, I've got this pocket consultation right here with any expert that I ever want to talk to. Now, obviously, proper prompting is very much so key in getting accurate results. So you have to learn how to like role prime your, your chats and stuff like that to assign that specific role and then the goal to it. But you can use it for anything. Like I literally was, we just went through an election year, and I don't know where you're at, but like here in Denver, we get these big blue books that are just full of all of the different bills and stuff that they want to pass and amendments. And it's like, I don't have time to read that, right? But I need to be informed.
Right.
So bring that into Notebook LM, do the audio overview, and all of a sudden you're very well educated on all of the issues that are coming up, and I was able to make educated decisions. So it's just this thing where it's like, we've never really had access to this power before, and that's why I think that so many people are still like, kind of like, what do we do with this? I don't know. Yeah. Like even when I first got it, I was like, oh, this is going to be way cooler than Google. But boy, was I just very much so underestimating the power of this, because it's a coach. It's a content creator. It's a project manager. I literally use it. Like me and my partner, when we created Apex Elite AI, we use ChatGPT's O1 model to actually manage the entire build out of this project, the launch, the marketing plan, everything. And we're running off of this business plan right now, and it's crushing. So awesome. It's one of those things where it's like, we could have paid somebody, $100,000 to get that kind of information, and we get it for a $20 a month subscription. It's wild.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, that's really cool. Like tell me a little bit about how else you're using it in the agent workspace flow. Like I think we can talk about, I don't know if you want to talk about chatbots, AI, even phone call kind of conversations. Like tell us a little bit more about those kind of things.
Yeah, so chatbots are okay. I'm definitely different than most people on chatbots. I think there's a time and a place for them. I like chatbots more for like the 24/7 customer service. Yeah. But I don't like cold reach out with chatbots. And they actually are putting an end to that right now. The new TCPA requirements or regulations are going to prohibit, actually the FCC even put the injunction in before the election that prohibits the cold calling using artificial intelligence to anybody who hasn't explicitly given you permission via like a website lead form. So cold calling with AI is officially dead in our industry for FSBOs and expireds, or, just random cold calling and circle dialing. But
I think it's good.
What's that?
I think that's good.
I do too, because nobody on this call right now, or nobody listening to the show right now, wants to be cold called in general. Right? Like we can all just admit that nobody wants to be cold called, but now think about being cold called by a robot. Like that's just not good. It's not going to be a good first impression. However, making initial contact with that lead and during the qualification process, emphasizing that you're a tech forward thinking agent, utilizing artificial intelligence to simplify the process and enhance their experience, and then demonstrating some of the things that you have for them. Like I have a GPT that I created that's called City Explorer. So when my relocation leads are coming into town to look at a couple of houses over the weekend, I give them access to this GPT, and I'm like, this is your one-stop shop for everything that you could know about Colorado, the Denver area. What do you want to do? Just ask it a question. It'll tell you. It answers questions about schools and the ratings and the neighborhoods and the houses. It'll tell you what metal bands are playing downtown tonight. Like, it's a really cool addition to the services that we offer them. And then you're like, yeah, by the way, also, if you got any questions, text this number. Well, this number goes straight into an API version of ChatGPT 4.0 that's trained on my sales process and answers all the frequently asked questions 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, right? So there's a time and a place for a chat bot. And I think that a lot of people just think, well, I'm going to use it as a cold caller. And it's like, it's not going to get you anywhere. But it definitely works very well when we're transparent about our use of AI and we use it to emphasize that it's a better experience for them in the end.
That's the key. That's the key right there. I think when I first got into my CRM and saw the chats, AI chatting and AI calling kind of options, I was like, I don't know if I want to get into that because of that. Like, I think the thought was like, okay, is it pretending to be me? I don't like that. But I think when you reframe, like, okay, so what if it's just like, let's get really, 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 really simple. Like, it's just about scheduling. It's just going to schedule you an appointment with this person, and it's being like, you could have a funny name, like I'm AI Alice, or I don't know. You can
Yeah, that's mine is AI Adam. For Adam AI. But yeah, my bot will literally be like, hey, I'm Adam AI. I'm Adam's AI avatar. Like, and then it breaks that ice with them, and it takes the client from going, is somebody trying to trick me right now? Right. Like, is this real? To, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Look at this guy's got an avatar. It looks just like him. It sounds just like him, It just changes the whole perspective. And all of the people that I work with, they love it. Like, I was on a listing presentation the other day, and I used the presentation to present it. I used an app called Gamma app. So if you guys haven't heard of this, it's gamma.app. And it's amazing. You can use it for free, but it's a token-based usage. And then if you want to pay for it, I pay for like the $10 a month version. And I get unlimited presentations, social media posts. I can duplicate web pages. And what's really cool is you're just prompting this. So I can go into ChatGPT and I can throw my seller's guide in there. And then I can throw the public information for the house that I'm doing the presentation on, put the CMA in there, and then tell it a couple of things, and to say, create me a slideshow, and just outline the slide deck and everything that should be on that to match this. It gives me this outline. I literally paste that into Gamma, and Gamma throws out a beautiful slideshow presentation that looks like it took months to build by a professional. Like, these are really good AI generated images. They're very bubbly. There's animations and stuff in it. And I go in there and I present it. And while I'm presenting it, I'm telling them I used AI to create your presentation, because they're like, how did you do this? Like, this is like custom for my house, Yeah. And I'm like, oh yeah, I used AI on it. And then we go through the contract signing, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'll start working on the marketing materials. But if you got a couple minutes, I'd like to show you something pretty cool. And of course they're like, yeah, absolutely. So I just pull up ChatGPT on the computer, and I'm like, this is how I'm going to set up your marketing. And I go in and I have this list of prompts that I use for all my listings. Then I went right there. I created the listing description based on the pictures I just took throughout the house, highlighted everything on the house. I built the ad copy out. I built out an automatic text campaign, and I built the outline for my email campaign that'll run for 2 years on any leads that come in off of the advertising I'm doing for their listing. Like, dude, nobody's doing that, right? And these people were blown away. They were like, I cannot believe that you just did that right here. And I'm like, hey, this is level 1 of your experience. Just wait, we're getting started now, Yeah. And it's just really cool, man, because everybody that I've had on it they leave, they start intrigued about AI, and they leave impressed about it.
I love it. That's cool. That's super cool. Yeah, no, there's great uses for it. I can see why you won. Yeah, I mean, tell me more about. I mean, do you use it for other social media? You mentioned blog posts, but do you use it at all for Instagram or reel creation, anything like that?
Absolutely. So along with that, my business document that I was telling you about when I created the prompt to teach it all about my business, what I'll do is I'll use that to come up with ideas for my short form content. And then it'll give me an idea, and then I'll have a chat session with it. So I'll go into voice mode, and I'll give my opinions based on the idea that it gave. And then we'll go ahead and write out a script. and then there's my short form content. I put it on my teleprompter, I do my thing, send it off to the editors, next, right? So I can batch my content to where I'm doing, like I did 7 videos this week already, 2 long form and 5 short form. And today I'm just planning more, but I'm able to just massively scale my social media presence without having to put in all of those creative hours. Because like, let's face it, we're limited on our creativity as humans, you know, and I got kids and I got a wife and I just don't want to be so mentally drained. And this really takes that creativeness and puts it onto the robot. And then we just we're there as like in an augmented fashion where I work together with ChatGPT to create it all out. And then it does it very fast. And then now here I am just right in front of a teleprompter and I just go. So I use it for long form, short form content. I use it as a coach. I think that's one of my favorite uses of it right now is that I'll program a coach. Like, so today you could, if you guys all have ChatGPT on your phones, you can go into advanced voice mode and just say, I need you to act as a PhD level psychologist. So let me rephrase that. I need you to act as a difficult for sale by owner with a PhD in psychology. And your job is to resist me trying to book an appointment for your for sale by owner. We will go through the conversation and you'll become increasingly more difficult. And at the end, you'll tell me what I did good, what I did bad, and where I can improve. And then from there, we go into a role play and I just sit there and role play back and forth. And because advanced voice mode is getting so good, the latency's very, very low. It's milliseconds long. So it's like actually talking to somebody. And then you can go through these. You can upload objection handlers and be like, teach me how to pitch these better. And then if you feed it your speech patterns before, then you can say, how do I say this objection? How should I say this objection handler to where it sounds more like me and I don't sound so weird when I say it? Because I think that's where a lot of agents go wrong is when we're trying to read scripts. We're trying to read the scripts directly and verbatim. And unless you're putting it into memory and then changing it around in your head, like we sound funky when we're reading what somebody else wrote. You know what I mean? Right. So if you can make it sound like you, it becomes easier to internalize and easier to execute when it's needed. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Do you think it's also something that's really with getting left behind in this field? Do you think incorporating increasingly more and more into your day-to-day, like into your CRM? I mean, you think that's just going to be like the status quo in a few years?
Yeah, I really do, especially when it comes to building out your CRM. Like right now, before ChatGPT, I was also a CRM geek, and I would build out drips that would run for years. I used to have this 5-year past client drip, because for whatever reason in my head, I'm like, if I could have my CRM reach out to my clients, I don't have to. It doesn't work very well, but it took me months to build it out, you know? And then now I go in and I build 3, 4, and 5-year drips that are more educational focused. And I always call my past clients now, call your past clients. But I can create a drip inside of ChatGPT that's using advanced neurolinguistic programming, storytelling, speaking better than I ever could imagine I could speak. And I can create these drips in just a matter of hours instead of months. And I use it for everything. So I use it to create my automatic drip campaigns inside of my CRM. So my text messages all sound like me. They're all geared to where I want based on my sales style. Because once again, I cloned myself into it. So it knows everything. And then I do the same thing with my emails. I go and I create big outlines for emails that'll run like 2 emails a year or 2 emails a month. And then it will run that for 72 months. So I basically go in there and I create 144 emails back and forth with ChatGPT, but it's just like a create, copy, paste, create, review, scrutinize, copy, paste kind of situation. And we can build these out extremely fast, and they're very, very effective now. Because the other bad part, and why I think most CRMs get a bad rep, is that we just plug these generic drips in. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, you know, hey, lead first name, when are you ready to buy a house? And it's like, dude, you wouldn't want that to come through to you either, right? So this is why those don't work. So when we employ, like, you know, ChatGPT's technology, it understands what spam triggering language is. It knows how to use advanced neurolinguistic programming to keep them excited about the process. And it's just an overall, it's a game changer. I think you're right. It's going to be the status quo. People that don't use it are going to find themselves struggling very, very bad.
Yeah. I mean, I could just imagine how better it will be too in the future. Like, I mean, you could have drip campaigns that are just customized to like current events, current things to maybe that local area, that then are also tailored to the person that it's sending to. Like the power of how that could be is crazy. And like, there's no way, if you have let's just be crazy, let's have a 20,000 person database. There's no way you're going to be able to do that kind of level of service. Individually, you could hire 1 million people to try to get it done, but that's possible with these models. I mean, that is something that could happen. I don't know of it being actually possible now, but maybe it is closer than we know. But that's exciting. It's crazy.
It's very exciting, man. Like, think about it this way on like a marketing level, right? So we have this advanced psychologist in front of us. It knows all about the different personality profiles. And this is some of the stuff that I teach my agents inside of Apex Elite AI. We'll build out a drip campaign for a specific lead source, right? So we build out a really big email and text campaign. And then we say, here's this text campaign. I need it for a driver. I need it for an influencer. I need it for a conscientious, and I need it for a steadiness, right? So now I have drip campaigns that are based on each part of the disc profile. And then those can be triggered based on what we tag those agents as, or those leads as they come in. So, like if you're using a CRM like Lofty and the lead registers with an email that they've registered on social media, it'll find them on social media. So you don't have to hunt them down. You could pull them up. You could go into their LinkedIn, pull up an app called Crystal Knows. Crystal Knows will say, oh, hey, based on their LinkedIn and other social media activity, based on what I have from LinkedIn, this is going to be their disc profile. Tag that into your CRM, and then boom, it fires off the proper drip campaign that's based on their personality type. And now you're speaking to people the way that they subconsciously want to be spoken to. And this is going to result in a higher conversion rate.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. I love it. Yeah. I mean, it's making you, it's just powerful. It's crazy powerful. And it's only going to get more so. I mean, we are so early on in this journey. So it's time to start learning. And I mean, before I ask you the golden nugget question, I think it's just what are you offering? Like, what you have this course you said, or like what things are you offering if people want to jump right in and learn?
Yeah. So my whole goal in life right now is to teach agents like you guys how to learn and leverage AI. So that way you can experience the same thing that I've experienced, which is compounded time savings, right? We talk about compounded interest all the time, especially in the investment world. Like, this is compounded time savings. It gives you more time to go out and close more deals or be with your family, right? So like, what I like to do is I like to help agents, and that's why we created Apex Elite AI. It's a multi-tiered community, but we do have a free side of the community. So we have Apex Elite AI Ignite. And this is a community of over 950 agents right now that are like you, wanting to learn and implement AI, but they're just at the very beginning stages. And we help you guys learn this in a very simplistic fashion with practical applications and absolutely no theory, because I want to show you guys how I used it to get the results that I did. So I'm only teaching proven stuff here. And we also have a course inside of that free community, and it's called the Quick Start AI Accelerator. And this is an accelerator course that'll give you a foundational understanding of how large language models work, so you can understand what does work and what doesn't. And then as you go into the community and start seeing how everybody's using it, you're going to be full of ideas and the knowledge to be able to operate this stuff the right way, so you get really good tailored answers.
I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, what a great resource. Yeah, I hope I didn't steal your golden nugget, but do you have anything that you would really suggest people, learn from you right now? Like, if they could do one thing, for example, what would you suggest?
Clone yourself, right? So this is the first step. If you're new to AI, the first thing that you need to do is teach it about yourself, so that way the outputs can be tailored towards the way that you want it, because it's smart, but it's not a mind reader. So if we don't go over this stuff with it, so what I'll also do for you today is when we're done with this, I'll shoot over a link to this prompt. So that way everybody who's listening to this can click a link in the description, grab this prompt, go through that question and answer session, and start that cloning process, because that will be the game changer that you were waiting for when it comes to this technology.
Okay. That's awesome. I love it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
On to book. Do you have a fundamental book that you think everybody should read, a current favorite, or what would be a book you'd recommend for people to read?
Yeah, that's a loaded question with me. I got a few of them. But if you're like me and you're busy and you have ADHD and you're like, I just need to figure out how I can manage and maximize my time outside of AI already helping, then Dan Martell's Buy Back Your Time. I'm reading it right now. It's phenomenal. This guy is an absolute machine when it comes to just learning how to buy back your time and segment things out, delegate what needs to be delegated. A lot of us as agents, we're control freaks, right? So this book is really helping me understand, okay, can I actually pass this off? Am I in a good position to start passing stuff off? If not, what can I do to maximize that productivity while I'm in these tasks? So that's my big one right now. But second to that, one of my all-time favorite books is Never Split the Difference, which is just amazing. If you guys are like, hey, I'd love to up my negotiations skill set, Never Split the Difference, and the Black Swan community is a really, really amazing community for learning negotiation strategies.
I haven't heard of that. Cool. Yeah, those are great. If people want to know more about you, about products you offer, where can they go? I mean, social media, websites, where can they find you?
Yep, I'm all over. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. My YouTube channel is packed full of a bunch of really cool free stuff. Like I got a Getting Started with Lofty series. So if you're a Lofty user and you're new to it, I have a whole series about how you set that CRM up properly. I'm always doing my AI updates. But you can literally just Google Adam Gillespie AI and you'll find me everywhere. I've dominated that little space there, so I'm pretty easy to find.
Perfect. Well, Adam, it's been a great conversation, super fascinating. I'm sure I will look forward to hearing from you in the future as things continue to get more complex and more amazing in the AI space.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for having me on. It was great.
Thanks for listening to the REI Agent.
If you enjoyed this episode, hit subscribe to catch new shows every week.
Visit reiagent.com for more content.
Until next time, keep building the life you want.
All content in the show is not investment advice or mental health therapy. It is intended for entertainment purposes only.